Good morning. My name is Joe LeClaire, and I'm the zoning hearing officer for San Mateo County Planning and Building, and I'm in a cave somewhere. Echoing away here. Yes,
Is there a microphone you could use to speak up?
I'll speak up.
Okay, because I'm hard of hearing.
Okay, me too. So my name is Joe LeClaire. I'm the zoning hearing officer for San Mateo County Planning and Building, and I am convening the May 1st, 2025 zoning hearing officer meeting here at 455 County Center in Redwood City, as well as on the Zoom. So people are able to participate, via Zoom. Yeah, please come closer. It's a small crowd. So let's start by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Silence phones, that's a good note to me too. So the first item on our agenda is public comment, and this is for items that are not on our agenda. If there's anything that you would like to bring to the Planning and Building Department's attention, that both, whether you're on the Zoom or here, now's the time to do that. Is there anyone who'd like to offer public comment on an item that is not on our agenda today?
We don't have anybody here, but we have one raised.
One raised hand, okay.
David?
Yeah.
Mr. Hodge, you have a comment on something that is not on our agenda today?
Oh, no. I just wanted to make sure I could register so that when our item comes up, I could speak if necessary.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you're registered. Thanks very much.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, so assuming then that there are no other public comments, we'll move on to our regular agenda. And we have two items today. And the first one, well, both of them will be presented by Angela Chavez. Angela, Ted, will you please read this into the record, and then we'll let Angela present it.
Item 1, regular agenda, planner Angela Chavez, owner Tanya Mukhadarati, applicant Jacob Hamilton for Virtual Sidewalk LLC on behalf of T-Mobile Crown Castle. File number PLN 2001-00801. Location 1175 Palomar Drive, Palomar Park, APN number 051-416-040. Let me share.
Yes. Very good.
Oh, and just let me know because we don't have.
Okay. We switch to the next slide.
Okay.
Please. So the renewal of this use permit was originally agendized for consideration for the zoning hearing officer's May 4th, 2023 meeting. Prior to that meeting, a continuance was requested by the project planner, and the zoning hearing officer granted that continuance to a date uncertain. There have been no changes to the application since that time, but as no presentation was given, I will do that for you today. So as you see here, the applicant requests a renewal of their use permit to allow the continued operation of an existing wireless telecommunications facility. The facility currently consists of one 20 foot 4-inch monopole. It has 2 antennas, 2 equipment boxes, and that is concealed under a canister atop the monopole. The monopole and the associated equipment are located within a 208.25 square feet lease area, which is enclosed by an existing 8-foot high fence. Next slide, please. Project location shown here in yellow is a developed residential area at the boundary between unincorporated San Mateo County and incorporated city of San Carlos. It is approximately 1.8 miles from the intersection of Scenic Drive and Edgewood Road and 3.8 miles from Interstate 280. The project parcel is improved with a single-family residence and the existing T-Mobile cellular facility. Next slide. So here's the overall site plan of the property. The house is towards, Palmer Park at the top, right, and then house kind of in the middle, and then the cell site that is the subject of the permit is outlined in the blue square towards the bottom left. Next slide. Here we have the elevations of one of the sides of the developed wireless facilities, fence area, and monopole. Next slide, thank you. As part of the review process, staff reviewed the applicable regulations and found that the project continues to conform with the applicable general plan policies for visual quality and general land use, as the facility has been constructed to the previously approved plans and has largely been maintained in accordance with its last approval. No physical changes to the facility are proposed at this time. In terms of the zoning regulations, the property is zoned single-family residential within Palomar Park zoning district. It's also within a design review district. As I mentioned, the existing wireless telecommunications facility is operating under a previously approved use permit, and no physical changes are proposed, and therefore continues to comply with the requirements of this section. In terms of the wireless telecommunications facilities ordinance, there are 2 applicable sections, and that's the development and design standards and performance standards. Excuse me, getting over a cold. In terms of the development and design standards, this section discusses minimizing visual impacts, maximum height, and future co-location of wireless facilities. As mentioned, previously the existing site is located in the rear of the yard of a residential district. This is an allowed use with the issuance of the use permit. Regarding the visual impacts, long distance visibility of the facility is minimal due to colors, fencing, topography, existing vegetation, and just the general surrounding development. However, visual impacts to the immediate neighbors have been identified during previous renewal periods. The original and subsequent approvals included a requirement that redwood trees be planted and maintained in order to obscure the view of the equipment from neighboring properties. Since the last use permit renewal, these trees unfortunately were removed by PG&E as part of their ongoing program to mitigate interference with overhead utility lines. Given this, staff has modified the condition of approval listed in attachment A to have the applicants consult with PG&E to find a suitable replacement vegetation in order to provide the required screening. In regard to the co-location of future facilities, there are no other carriers present at the site, and there are no pending applications for additional carriers to co-locate at the site. In terms of the performance standards section, the applicant has included a 10-year plan and maintains a valid FCC license, and therefore staff found that they were in compliance with these requirements. Next slide, please. For the use permit, the regulations require that the 2 findings shown here be made. The subject wireless facility has been in operation since 1997 and has not resulted in adverse impacts to the surrounding area. The radio frequency analysis submitted by the applicant confirms that the facility continues to comply with the FCC's current prevailing standards for limiting human exposure to radio frequency energy. As this is an unmanned communication facility, the operation does not create additional traffic, noise, or intensity of use of the property, and the site facilitates both routine daily conversation, but also communication for emergency situations. And next slide. In terms of the environmental review, the project was found to be categorically exempt under CEQA, as it allows for the continued operation of existing public or private facilities involving no alterations or expansions of use. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, consideration of this use permit was continued from a May 2023 hearing. At that time, public notification of the meeting had resulted or had been sent out, and prior to the continuance request, and a number of public comments were submitted in response to the project. As part of the noticing requirements for this hearing, we also received a number of comments opposing the project, and that I'm just summarizing the prevailing issues that were raised through those comments. So the first being that health risks associated with radio frequency emissions associated with cellular technology were a reason that this application should be denied. So the county's wireless telecommunications ordinance does require that the applicant confirm compliance with radio frequency emissions. While staff understands the concerns expressed, federal law prohibits local jurisdictions from denying applications on the basis of environmental effects of radio frequency emissions to the extent that such facilities comply with FCC regulations. The applicant has provided documentation confirming that the subject site complies with the emissions limits and site requirements. In terms of the potential for future co-locations, both the county's cellular or wireless ordinance and FCC rules require that co-location on sites where existing facilities are located be approved where certain conditions are met. Therefore, conditioning the application to disallow future co-locations would be inconsistent with both of those requirements. Although I would say that the property owner would have to be open to entertaining any future co-locations, to which our understanding is that they are not. The third item was the presence of the facility within a residential neighborhood. As noted previously, wireless telecommunications facilities are allowed in residentially zoned districts when the applicant can show that there are no other reasonable options. The applicant has previously provided this information, confirming that this site addresses their coverage objective and that other nearby sites do. And then finally was the concerns over the ongoing lease of the site. Again, the lease for the use of the site is between the property owner and the leasee. The county is not a party to the lease. We have received owner's concurrence to the subject application and therefore are not involved in any ongoing disputes or discussions about whether the lease should continue. Right, next slide. Fine, so based on this analysis and this review, staff offers the following recommendation: that the zoning hearing officer approve the use permit renewal, county file number PLN 2001-00801, by making the required findings and adopting the conditions of approval as are listed in attachment A. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Angela. I guess I have one question. I read the report, the EMF report, and I believe it said that the ground level radio frequencies were 37% of the allowed amount.
38%.
38%, okay. I just wanted to make sure I had that right. And that was the only question I had. So, and I think I've reviewed a number of the comments that we received. And I'll just note that we've gotten comments from Carol and John Medino, Bob Genley and Teresa McDaniel, Sally S. Einspar, Bob Bedbury, and Sam Smith. And so what I'd like to do now is open the public hearing, and we'll start with folks who are in the room. And if you'd like to speak, please fill out a speaker card and give it, they're in the little blue cards in the back there, and give it to Ted so that she can read your name into the record. And while we're doing that, we can open it up to folks in the Zoom who would like to speak. And if you do, please say and spell your name if we can't figure out who you are, because we need to document public comment so is there anyone on the Zoom who would like to offer testimony in the public hearing for this item?
We don't have anyone.
No raised hands.
Yes.
Okay, so
I think we have the owner, Tanya, and I'm going to speak or.
this is the applicant,
Oh,
the owner. Yeah, okay. And okay, yeah, she's welcome to speak if you'd like. You don't have to. And let's see, do we have a applicant's representative either online or
Jacob is online.
Jacob? Okay. So let's give this person a chance to speak, and then we'll talk to the applicant's representative.
Yours.
Sally Einspar.
Okay.
Okay.
Sally was the one.
Yes. All right. So, Ms. Einspar, would you please take the stand? And, yeah, I that way folks online can see you. We're really constrained by this camera. We're all bunched together here.
Well, first I want to say that we've been fighting this tower for 25 years. Back when Cellular One, I think, was the original tower there. Then they brought in a couple more companies. Those two are gone now. There's only the one tower left in the. It benefits none of us in Palomar Park because it shoots out like this across the canyon and hooks up with the tower at 280. I see no reason for this to be in the backyard of a neighbor and who has a small child who is put at risk with the radio waves. I know that years ago, the government came out with a report, but I believe it was back in 98, or maybe as far back as 89, that this government report said, oh, the cell tower waves are okay. And that's when the county stepped in and said, okay, you can just put them anywhere. We in Palomar Park as a homeowners association spent many months when this all started, back when Oppenheimer was part of the homeowners association. He put a very detailed report into the county about other sites that could be used. And they were all turned down by the county, and the cell towers went ahead and did what they wanted to do. And it's like the people in Palomar Park have no backing from the county. I mean, this is in a neighborhood that isn't even benefited by this tower. And that, to me, is a problem. And the county needs to be involved in this. And as far as the radio waves, check back through your records on this because, like I say, 25 years we've been fighting this. And see when that government statement was made about, oh, cell tower radiation is okay. Back in, I think it was 07, we tried to sell our house. And a doctor came and looked at it and wanted to put in a bid. And then he discovered the cell towers next day. And he said, I'm sorry, can't buy your home. And I asked him, I said, you know that you work in a hospital, you carry a pager or cell phone, you can have radio waves in the hospital. And he told me, he says, I'm starting a family as soon as I get married, and I do not want my children subjected to that tower. And here this lady's child is subjected every day that she lives there. And they're great neighbors. And I understand that they were forced into this contract by the cell company when they bought the house. They were even threatened that they were going to be sued if they didn't sign the agreement. Now, this is a recent problem, and I've known about it maybe a little over a year. When the cell towers came in and put the property, their cell tower enclosures, they hooked the electricity to the house. And a permit has never been issued to take it off the house and put their own meter in there. This poor woman is paying huge amounts for electricity that she isn't using. And no permit, no word from the county and help. And I think it's ridiculous that she's talking about a $3,000 electricity bill monthly. And if that isn't enough reason to have the cell tower company be forced to put their own meter in, I don't know what is. I would have never bought the house. And just to let you know, I used to own that house before the cell tower came in. And this is just ruining the neighborhood. None of us on that end want. And it does Palomar Park no good. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Einspar. Is there anyone else, either on the Zoom or in the room, who would like to offer public testimony? Yes, you're the property owner. Thanks very much. Oh, can you please give it to Ted? She okay. My proper in saying Ms. Mukhadarati?
Yes.
Thank you. Please tell us what you have to say.
I would like to say I purchased a house with the towers and with King. It was part of the agreement and everything. And fortunately, I could not deny it. And the house is beautiful and a beautiful neighborhood, amazing community. And I'm sorry, I feel sorry for the neighbors that what they go through and what they've been going through for years. And unfortunately, I cannot do much. But yeah, I'm not on either side. I'm just waiting for the lease agreement for the cell tower to end, and I have no intention of extending the lease or anything. I think their lease agreement ends in 2032. And yeah, that's about it.
Thanks. Do you mind if I ask a couple of questions? Ms. Einspar made some points that bear on you, one of which was that you pay $3,000 a month of electricity that benefits the cell company. Is that accurate?
So the amount is different every month.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I was not aware of that the cell tower was feeding off of the house. It's connected with the PG&E. In 2022, I did request them that to put your own meter because it's getting very expensive for me paying you guys' bills for PG&E, and it was outrageous. There was times that I had to pay 3,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. It was different amounts, and for a single family with a small child, I have a 5-year-old daughter, I don't think I use that amount of electricity. So I did request them, and they were kind enough that they said, okay, we'll look into it. They looked into it, and then they came back that, oh, we installed something which is called RMU. And then that will give you the usage data and et cetera, et cetera. I was like, okay, so that I followed up again, and that was installed in May 1st, 2023. And I was supposed to be given data usage, so I know how much they're using, or a report, like showing how much they're using on a monthly basis electricity. And unfortunately, till today, I have not received anything from them, and they're still feeding on PG&E. I would be happy if they could have their own meter, that they could feed their own tower from that meter, and pole is just right next to their pole. I mean, the electric pole is there, and it's like 5 feet or 6 feet, maybe I'm estimating, away from their equipment. So I was assuming it would be an easy approach for them to have their own meter. It kind of feel really odd to me that they're feeding off of a residential. They're being a big company, and we're really grateful for them for providing us cell communication. Our phone works because of them, but I just feel like maybe residential area is not the place for them to be. And hopefully in the future, they will consider a better location.
And you bought the property when?
I'm sorry?
When did you buy the property?
I think in 2022, maybe.
2022, just a few years ago.
Or 21, maybe. It was, yeah, around that time. I don't remember the exact.
Okay, and is the arrangement with the electricity, them feeding off of your house, is that written into their lease agreement? Do they?
I believe so.
I believe it is. Well, we'll ask the
And that's why I
applicant's
requested
representative
that.
about that as well. So they would probably need to trench. If they were going to create a separate meter, they would probably need to trench from the road to the pole that you mentioned.
I don't think they would have to do that, sir. Just imagining this room, the electrical pole is just right there, and their equipment is behind her chair.
Yeah, PG&E has a pole right there.
Yep, it's and my house is in the back, so we have our cable running this way like that, and this is my meter. So it's sorry.
I think that's 5 minutes. So is there anything else you'd like to add, Ms. Mukhadarati? Okay, thanks very much. Is there anyone on the Zoom who would like to offer public comment before I close the public hearing? If so, please raise your hand and Ted will explain to you how to provide public comment.
We don't have anyone right now via Zoom.
All right, very good. So I'll close the public hearing and.
Excuse me, one comment, please. She has a meter on the back of her house. They have trenched from the enclosure to that meter. All PG&E have to do is put another meter right there. They don't.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure about all that, and
Well,
none of us are electricians, and so we'll, not.
Well, you can see where it
Yes,
comes into the house.
Thank you, and we'll consider that as we move forward. So, now I know that I believe the applicant's representative is on the line, is that correct?
Yes, yes,
Great, can we, is it Jacob?
Jacob.
Yeah, can we ask him some questions?
Jacob?
There he is.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Hey, good
Um,
morning.
yeah, have you read the staff report?
Yeah,
And do you agree with the, findings and conditions of approval contained therein?
yeah, seems about right.
Okay, I had a couple of questions for you. The, issues come up, you've been listening to us discuss it about the power arrangement on the property. So is it correct that that the homeowner pays the power bill for the cell company to operate the property?
I gotta be honest about that. I mean, this is the first time hearing about that issue. We've been dealing with the landowner for at least a year and a half on this, and we have clear language in the lease that allows for compensation if that's the case. If it's a situation where we're using house power, which would be the landlord owned power, we do have a remedy built into the lease where they can get fully reimbursed for all that power. And we also have sub metering where essentially we install a meter and read our own power, pay our own power bill directly. There's various measures for fixing that. And we do have a real estate team. We deal with this all the time. Obviously, we have, thousands and thousands of sites. And if either of those situations are present, then Crown will gladly reimburse the landlord where needed. If that's the situation, if it's a situation where a sub meter is needed, we can do that also. We have a Crown real estate team and people that specialize in power that address these issues, and they absolutely will.
So if we were to add a condition to this, to the permit that said that the, cell tower operator will either, secure separate power or reimburse the lessee for the lessor, for the, power used off of their meter, would that be objectionable?
I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I mean, those are generally handled as a lease term. Um, that's kind of more of a contractual issue with the landowner. Not that I have an objection to it. I'm just not really in a position to say yay or nay to that because that's something that is handled contractually, but I don't have a personal objection to it. But I know my client generally likes to keep land use matters, land use, and then electrical and contractual issues to the contract. In other words, there's already a mechanism to fully reimburse the landowner for that. I'm not objecting to, I mean, obviously there's some common sense in there, but I just generally like to keep land use matters to land use matters, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does make sense, and I agree with you. I just wanted to explore the issue, and see whether there was a resolution. And it sounds like there is potential for one, but it's something that the county probably should not be involved in. That was really, the only question I had outside of the ability to locate some screening vegetation that was going to keep the neighbors whole on, I guess it would be the north side,
Yeah.
who lost some redwood trees to PG&E.
Oh, that's unfortunate because there was nice mature growth that was there.
Yeah, and well, maybe the thing to do is pick, redwoods are great, they grow fast. But they may not be the best, they get too tall, for that location. Cause I guess the worry was that they would take the wires down if they fell, right?
That's my understanding.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah,
So-
we just following the conditions of approval. I believe they specifically called for redwoods. I don't think we're particularly attached to redwoods as opposed to any other type of tree.
Yeah, I think that, if I'm not mistaken, I think the condition has been generalized. Yes, the prior use permit did call for redwoods. I think it's been generalized now to work with PG&E to come up with some
Yeah.
vegetables that will provide adequate screening without the adverse effects on the waters. So
That makes sense.
good. Well, thank you very much. And so you've read the staff report and agree with the findings and conditions of approval. And so I am going to approve the renewal of PLN 2001-00801 pursuant to the findings and subject to the conditions of approval in attachment A of the staff report. If anyone wishes to appeal this decision to the Planning Commission, they can do so. An appeal application needs to be submitted by May 15th at 5 p.m. And in writing, accompanied by a, is it $1,962 appeal fee? That concludes this item. And we'll move on to item 2 of our agenda. And Ted, can you please read that into the record? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 2, regular agenda, planner Angela Chavez, owner David and Hygiene Hodge, applicant David and Hygiene Hodge, file number PLN 2024-00280, location 201 Magellan Avenue, Miramar, APN number 048-016-010.
Good morning.
Good morning,
No,
Angela.
begin. Next screen. So the project applicant is seeking a use permit to allow for the construction of an attached 506 square foot accessory dwelling unit or ADU to an existing non-conforming 2,193 square foot single family residence on a legal 10,800 square foot parcel. The existing residence is a partial 2-story, and the ADU is to be constructed over the garage area, which is tall, but basically constitutes a single-story portion of the residence. The residence is, as I mentioned, a legal non-conforming structure due to a non-conforming left and right side yard setbacks. The use permit is required because the ADU will have windows above 10 feet. It will also have stair access that will encroach into the required side yard setback, resulting, I think it's actually a couple inches, not a foot, I apologize, where 10 feet is required, and because the project does not provide the required single car off-street parking. Next slide, please. So the project parcel, as I mentioned, is developed. It is an unusual parcel in that it's sort of U-shaped, and with the house being on the sort of right bottom facing Magellan Avenue. See the square there. Excuse me. This portion of Magellan Avenue is west of Cabrillo Highway within the designated Cabrillo Highway State Scenic Corridor. The middle parcel that we're seeing here is a San Mateo County Parks Department owned parcel, which is part of the Marada Serve County Park and provides access to the beach and to the California Coastal Trail, and is currently developed with a restroom. Adjacent to and within the Marada Surf property is an existing perennial creek surrounded by riparian habitat. You can sort of see the vegetation towards the rear of the property. The area to the south of the project site is zoned residential and consists of a mix of residentially developed and undeveloped parcels. Next slide, please. So here we have sort of a site plan / floor plan of the proposal. The ADU, again, is proposed above the existing garage area. Parcel boundaries in this case are shown here in orange, and the area of the proposed ADU is this sort of blue square. And then the green square towards the bottom of the drawing shows the proposed access stairs for the ADU. Next slide, please. And then we have the elevations of the structure. This is the view of the ADU from Magellan. Again, the ADU shown at the right of the drawing in this blue square highlighted. As noted in the staff report, the proposed ADU height does not exceed the height of the existing structure, as we can see. Next slide, please. And then this is the opposite side, left side facing the parks property. Again, the addition is shown to the left of the drawing, and some of the windows that are part of the use permit are shown here. Next slide, please. And then just giving you a view of the rear of the structure as would be viewable from Magellan and Cabrillo Highway, with the change highlighted in these blue triangles. Next slide. So as part of this overall review, staff did a review of the applicable regulations and found the project to be in conformance. First, with the county's general plan, found that the project complies with visual quality and urban land use policies, specifically in regard to the design and site planning guidelines as they pertain to the appearance of development and the overall urban area design concept. The project is located within the R1 S94 Design Review Coastal District zoning districts. Page 4 of the staff report includes discussion of the project's conformance with the S94 standards. And then for the second dwelling unit or ADU regulations, the proposed ADU complies with the development standards as they pertain to height, floor area, lot coverage, step backs, and setbacks, as there are reduced allowances within the ADU regulations. And again, while the ADU regulations provide for some relief from the stricter provisions of the S94 zoning districts by requiring 4-foot side yard setbacks, the issue here is that as part of the original development of this parcel, the Coastal Commission required that a deed restriction be placed on the sort of undeveloped areas, which provided a very limited area for accommodating things like the stairs. So while the unit itself complies, the stairs really have no other option in order to adhere to that deed restriction. The ADU regulations, as I mentioned, also limit window placement for ADUs that do not, for structures that do not meet the setback requirements that would apply to the primary residence. Given that the primary residence has this unusual shape and was originally developed with a use permit approval, we're kind of limited as to tying this in and making it visually cohesive without allowing windows above the 10-foot requirement. But given, again, the unique shape and location, the proposed windows don't result in any privacy issues or concerns, which I believe are the intent of that limitation. Finally, the ADU regulations for the coastal zone provide some very specific parking requirements for mapped areas under the LCP map 3.2, which includes the Miramar area. The subject parcel does fall within this map area and therefore requires at least one off-street parking space. I provided the original site plan just to kind of show that even the existing driveway is largely within the right of way. So being able to provide that space within that area is what most people do, is infeasible as well, given the deed restriction, also infeasible. But the waiving of that requirement can be accommodated via the use permit, as is allowable via the ADU regulations. And then ADU regulations again say we can allow for relief from the specific requirements with the issuance of a use permit. It requires that the finding here be made. And staff determined that given the project's overall conforming aspects, it would not have a detrimental impact to the public welfare and would not be injurious to property or improvements in the neighborhood. Next slide, please. In terms of environmental review, the project is exempt from CEQA relating to the construction of an accessory dwelling unit in a residential zone. And finally, it's staff's recommendation that the zoning hearing officer approve the use permit, county file number PLN 2024-00280 by adopting the required findings and conditions of approval listed in attachment A. That concludes my presentation. That will be available if you have any questions.
Thank you, Angela. Before we get to any questions I may have, I'd like to open the public hearing and see if there's anybody from the public. I know the applicant is online, but is there anyone besides the applicant who would like to speak to this application?
We don't have anybody via Zoom or we don't have anyone.
Okay.
You have the applicant, David.
Well, Mr. Hodge, good morning, and if you'd like to speak to this application, we'd like to hear from you.
Hi. How do I put my camera on? I can't put it on.
Pardon me?
Yeah, I'm also having a very hard time hearing all of a sudden. Hang on for 1 second. My headphones or something has gone weird. Sorry. Are you there?
Yes, we're here. Can you hear us?
It's very, very
Faintly?
let me try a different set of headphones. I don't know, it's all of a sudden it just went nuts. Yeah, those are the right ones.
Well, while
Let
you're
me try and do something here. Hold on.
I do have a question for Angela to ask. It has to do with the ADU ordinance in the coastal zone, I believe, prohibits the renting of ADUs.
Okay,
For,
are you there?
yeah, we are, but I've moved on. I'll come back to you. While we were waiting
Okay.
for your headphones, I just had a question for Angela.
Okay. Okay.
And that the ADU ordinance prohibits the renting, basically short-term rental of ADUs, is that correct?
That is correct.
And do we impose a condition, kind of reminding owners of that, or is it just something that is enforced through the complaint-based?
I mean, generally, most of our ADUs are ministerial and therefore don't go to this level. So in those cases, I think it just becomes a code enforcement issue. I don't see any reason why memorializing it as a condition. I mean, it is part of the regulations.
And is that countywide or is that just in the coastal zone?
The short-term rental ordinance is only applicable in the coastal zone. We don't allow short-term rentals outside.
Okay, and then, and. Got it. Okay, I'm slow, but I'm coachable. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Hodge, are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Great. So did you want to add anything to Angela's presentation or to help us understand the project?
No, I mean, I think Angela's done a really great job at outlining what we'd like to do. I guess I'm here to answer any questions you may have about the design and, you know, the things that she brought up that we're requesting. If you have any questions, I'm happy to try and answer those questions.
Yeah, no, I think it's, I thought Angela did a fine job of describing the project and going through the design issues and the site planning constraints. It's a tough site. So I think that this resolution works. So have you read the staff report and do you agree with the findings and conditions of approval therein?
Yes, I do. I think what Angela's laid out is what we had, you know, desired. So yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to approve PLN case number 2024-00280, subject or pursuant to the findings and subject to the conditions of approval in attachment A of the staff report. If anyone would like to appeal this determination to the Planning Commission, they can do so by submitting an appeal application in writing at the Planning and Building Department here at 455 County Center, and it needs to be accompanied by an appeal fee of $1,962, and I don't know if I said the date is May 15th, 2025 at 5 p.m. That's the deadline for submitting an appeal application. So thank you, Mr. Hodge and Angela, and with that, I'll adjourn the meeting.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.